Welcome to our daily reflection for this Wednesday, July 17th. And today, Jesus breaks out into praise to the Father. He talks about how God has hidden his wisdom from the wise and the learned, from the scholar and those who are, come from elite universities perhaps. But he's revealed his wisdom to mere children. And he speaks this, and we see this theme in the scriptures today. Psalm 94 talks about how, it appears that the nations are more powerful than God's people, Israel. And yet it sometimes seems that God hands his people over under the political authority of the nations who are pagans. And this seems like God maybe has lost power. God's not in control, but far be that from the truth. Because what we see in the Revelation that's revealed about God's wisdom in the prophet Isaiah here, in Isaiah chapter 10, God says to his people, look, you are under the domination of Assyria, and Assyria is afflicting Judah, and that seems bad, and it seems like, well, where's God? If God's all powerful, why does the pagan nation that worships idols, Assyria, conquer and defeat Israel? Well, there's a reason. One, God's people have sinned, and God needs to humble his people. And that's what there's a pedagogical purpose to God's punishment, and that is to bring God's people to humility. That's a key lesson. And then God uses this metaphor that he reveals. He says, look, Assyria is like my rod by which I'm going to spank Israel and discipline Israel. It's not that Assyria is powerful in and of itself and that Assyria is throwing off God's plan. No. Assyria is but a tool in God's plan of discipline for his people. And so sometimes when wicked nations have power and authority over God's people, it's to discipline God's people and to humble them. There's a pedagogical purpose, but there's also a deeper pedagogical purpose, because when God's people become captive to the pagans, God's people then can be a witness in the midst of those pagan nations. And so God allows his people to be captured and captive because they didn't go out evangelizing the nations. And so they didn't go out to the nations. So now God's going to scatter his people amidst the nations so that they may be a light to the nations, which is one of the messages of the prophet Isaiah, that his people is to be a light to the nations. And so he allows them to be conquered, which makes it look like God's weak maybe, and God, can't stand up to these pagan gods, but God is actually fulfilling his pedagogical and wise plan. And so when it seems that things are out of control and the wicked are ruling, realize God has a deep pedagogical plan. And so sometimes we don't see it. Sometimes the people in the time of Isaiah couldn't see that Assyria was part of God's plan for God's people. And today we see the same thing. And so let's reflect on how God has a deep pedagogical purpose, and sometimes he allows his people to suffer political misfortune to create spiritual fortune. May the Lord bless and keep you. The Augustine Institute is moving and growing. And so we have a lot of job positions. And so I really highly recommend, if you're mission-minded with us, you want to serve the Lord and serve the new evangelization, please send us your CV. We have a lot of positions open right now, and you can find out more at augustineinstitute.org/careers, or simply Google us at Augustine Institute Careers, and you can find out about all the exciting positions that are open as we grow and grow. And please pray for us to find the right people. May the Lord bless and keep you.